We have another vlog, though. Was this one recorded before or after the other one?
No one will ever know. Yeah, they will, because, like, I was fucking about with my hair in the beginning of the other one, so now the fringe is different here.
No.
Confuse people. I have to go to the barber's next week. It's just a pain in the ass.
Anyway, hello! This is going to be a pretty short Backseat because the film is only 16 minutes long.
Exactly 16 minutes, so.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when things are nice round numbers. Good job.
It's a film that has not, I don't know how many times it's been screened, or if at all, if it's not a DVD release. I don't think it's on YouTube.
Is this an exclusive?
I was sent a copy by the director, Robin Adams. This film is called The Estrogen Gospels, and it seems to be, it's...
Can I say it?
If you wish to.
It's a metaphor!
Well, it is that as well.
I don't remember. I think it might be my 8th grade English teacher that because I don't know where that came from. Yeah. But I've been saying it for a long time.
It's genre-wise, it's a folk horror about living your life and, moving on. That's how I put it.
And England.
It is England. Though, to be fair, folk horror indicates that, because 90% of folk horror films come out of England.
There were hedgerows, but there were no hedgehogs, and I think
that might have been just not.
The next film should definitely have hedgehogs in it.
Yes. Anyway, basically the plot is that you've got this woman is going into a small English village, stops at a pub.
It's an awesome pub. It's got like a fireplace and everything.
Meets up with the trans fates, all 3 of them.
Was my joke.
It wasn't. It was a spectacular joke, and I stole it.
She comes to the pub during the afternoon where the trans book club is meeting in one corner, and they're like, "Come over and chat." And of course, because she didn't see the invite on Facebook, she has no idea what book they're talking about, so she has to go on a quest.
She's going up to a church, and then going up, but then she gets caught after dark, and the ghosts of the dead are causing all kinds of trouble. And she's like, "Fuck you, ghosts of the dead. I accept myself, I'm moving forward, I don't give a fuck what you think," and then she goes off in triumph. At least that's my interpretation. I'm pretty sure she'll tell me if I'm wrong.
It's a metaphor. See, I feel bad because I've said before that there's a lot of things that people appreciate that I know because they appreciate it and I respect their opinion that it must be good, but I just, like, for example, I don't think that Rick and Morty or BoJack Horseman are funny. I know that they must be funny because a lot of people say that they're really hilarious and they're really enjoyable shows, and I'm like, well then I must be the problem because obviously these are funny shows that are enjoyable. But like art house and like films like that, like I think also maybe it's a spectrum thing that like I'm like, oh okay this is a metaphor, okay this is like symbolism, all right, and then
it requires
maybe it's because you make me watch a lot of like art house and symbolism. Like I was like, what's that one where like all the monks are rolling around in the mud with like the Virgin Mary and Jesus, and you remembered?
I was like, Begotten.
Yeah, I had to watch that and take notes because I'm a good spouse.
Maybe it's a diagonal thinking thing, because with certain genres like art house and to a certain extent with folk horror, you have to sort of, it's less obvious and you've got to sort of slightly skew to get it.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like Lovecraft. Like every single like climax in a Lovecraft story is like, and then I beheld a thing which I knew could not be possible, and it smote my brain into 1,000 bits. But I'm not going to tell you what I actually saw because it was too horrifying.
Also, here's a list of people I don't like.
Here's a list of ethnicities that I don't think are cool. He said racistly. But yeah, like it's one of those things where that's like part of the trope, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't see the unspeakable horror, and you can't speak about the unspeakable horror, otherwise it ruins it.
Yeah.
But it also kind of is problematic in a visual medium.
Well, it is. Some certain films do it better than other ones. This one did it reasonably well.
No, I meant Lovecraft.
Oh, Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why good Lovecraft adaptations generally change a bunch, because they make it personal to them, because Lovecraft's writing is incredibly personal to him. For better and much worse.
There are sentences that go on for days.
But with this one, you've got the element that I was really taken with as a spectacular strength was the outside cinematography. The bits where you've got the main character wandering through like nature and just looking around nature stuff. You very successfully made England, rolling hills, look giant and imposing, which is difficult to do because it's fucking England.
Yeah, like the whole country could fit inside Texas.
Yeah.
Well, Texas is pretty big.
Yeah, and even the cinematography was very crisp. It was beautiful. I'm guessing there were technical issues because the stuff is done inside interiors a lot less successful. But this is an incredibly low budget film. They probably found about 3 or 4 minutes to film each thing. So the fact that the interior ones came out as good as they did, they probably only had like realistically a tiny bit of time in each location because these places opened up to them. So I totally understand why this happened.
I want to go to that pub with the crazy wallpaper and see. Even though we're here in Donegal, although there might be ones in Donegal that have a fireplace.
I'll probably do more rural places.
See, I don't really go to pubs anymore after the COVID, so I don't want to breathe in.
But originally, there was a time in this where I wasn't 100% sure about what the plot was going to be. I figured, because you had the three, as Eric said, the three trans fates, the main character didn't seem to be being gendered by characters. So I was wondering if the film was supposed to be a bit of trans self-acceptance, that at the end they will accept that they're trans in this special location and then take estrogen. That's hence the name, the Estrogen Gospels, after going to a church and stuff like that. And that would be the plot. So I was a little bit thrown for a loop that it very quickly turned out to not be that. But it's not. It's definitely not. It's not. It's probably better than my idea. More dramatic.
It's a metaphor. Well, no, I mean like a lot of horror trailers. You have that, that kind of like. Not really static effect, but like switching things very quickly, cut shots and static noises, and then the people are like in Final Fantasy Rebirth when Cloud hallucinates about Sephiroth. Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah.
Did Sephiroth do this?
I really liked the sort of the ghost stuff at the end. Basically, she's stuck at night. American War from London thing. She said, "Don't be out on the moors at night," even though it's not a moor.
Because there's lots of those little bugs that bite ye.
There was the ghosts and stuff, but the getting menaced and then yelled at by the ghosts worked out, really, really well in that. I don't know if this is quite the right word, but in that sort of editing staccato type way, it was pretty cool.
Like a Greek chorus, kind of.
Like a Greek chorus, like invaded briefly. But it is very folk horror, and I did enjoy that because we've had a series of arguments about folk horror before. Because
it's just, you can't be having things. English people think they did everything. I mean, no offense to English people. But we don't.
I made an innocuous comment about folk horror being an English genre of horror because that's where it started in film.
Yeah, but my thing is that, like, since hominids could communicate their own internal thoughts and an internal world, there have been, doubtless have been legends of that thing out beyond the firelight or out beyond the edge of the cave before we had fire.
Oh, definitely.
So you can't be like, well, England actually, because
definitely, but as a genre of film,
our natural places are full of shit. Now, because of the Tories.
Well, folk horror is all international now. At the start, it was an English genre, and it still is primarily English genre.
My God.
You could psychologize the English based on how popular folk horror is.
The bees are in my mouth. I had to watch them. We watched the original one from the 70s.
You should. It's fantastic.
No, we did, remember?
We should watch it again.
Oh, I want to. I know the ending.
We watched The Wicker Tree.
No.
It's a sequel. It's terrible.
Okay, like, it always turns out that people in... Like, I feel really offended if I lived in a rural place and I was just a normal person. Because, like, people in rural places just, especially where, like, the old ways are kicking around, and I guess they don't have Google or anything. Like, it's always a recipe for disaster. Like that one Midsummer, like, oh, we're going to go to, see these people in their traditional... No, leave them alone.
It's better than
They're a cult.
It's better than the American rural horror, where they're always cannibals and inbred.
Yeah, but like that's
You know,
really
in-
what West Virginia.
And over,
Oh, I'm
well,
not kidding, West
the
Virginia.
British
I'm sure it's
ones, you know, the folk horror, you basically got a bunch of people like they're just doing shit, you know, that the ancestors did thousands of years ago, and they're keeping themselves to themselves.
That's why he's had Brexit. That's exactly where that came
Like
from.
I said, you could psychologize the English.
You know why? You know
Based on
why?
folk horror.
Because in the EU, it's against the law to create a big fucking wicker man and to put someone inside with the bees and set them on fire.
To be fair,
Alright, so...
the Wicker Man was set in Scotland.
Yeah, but they just dissolved their partnership with the Greens, the SNP did, so, like, no one knows
No,
what's
the
gonna
Greens
happen
did
now.
that.
Oh, no, see, well, that's...
Because the SNP were walking back certain liberal sorts of things,
Oh, because
including protecting trans
the
people.
way that I heard it presented was, you'll never guess what the SNP had done to the Greens this time, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, the Greens got tired of the SNP
Oh, okay.
for
Well, that's
basically being shitty.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understand it. I could be wrong. Anyway.
What this
Estrogen
means is that everyone else is going to folk horror too, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yes, that's true. But Estrogen Gospels, if you see it somewhere, it is well worth 15 minutes. I really want to see some more films by Robin Adams. It's a bit fantastic. The little rough around the edges, but you know, micro budget film is like that. If you can get past that, then you know you can have an interesting little time.
If you're from that town, you can be like, hey, look,
And
it's
you
my
know,
bus stop.
I wouldn't mind seeing more connecting with between trans-related things and say, you know, folk horror, that kind of thing. Simply because it's such an unusual mix, you know, the small town English sort of thing. It is. I don't think I've ever seen that in film before. I'd like to see more of that kind of thing.
That's fair enough. I'd like to see a hedgehog next time.
Novelty is always good.
See, that's a metaphor too. You know why? Because you put your spikes up to protect you from the world, but when you uncurl, you have a little fuzzy belly and a long pink tongue. They're so cute.
In Alderney, the island of Alderney, you get yellow hedgehogs.
That'd be pretty cool.
They look like Boris Johnson's head.
Well, in the States, you usually have the African pygmy ones because they're like the pet one, but you can't have them here because there's native hedgehogs.
Yeah, because our hedgehogs are the best.
They really are. But also, the film was the best as well, despite its lack of hedgehogs. We approve.
That was fantastic. See you later.
Goodbye.